3:04 a.m. Friday morning. Your phone lights up on the nightstand. Notification. Salary deposited. £2,267.00. You're asleep. The money just sits there, unassigned, unspoken for, completely liquid. By 7:45 a.m., you'll check it, feel relief, maybe smile a little. And in those first 5 minutes after you see that number, you'll make a decision without realizing you're making one. You'll do nothing, and that nothing will determine the next 30 days. Not your income, not your budget, not your willpower, those first 5 minutes. Because here's what most people don't understand about payday. It's not when you get paid that matters, it's what you do in the window before the system takes over. And if you wait too long, the system decides for you. Let me show you what happens. You wake up, make coffee, check your phone while the kettle boils. Banking app opens. Available balance, £2,267. Yesterday, it was £86. The relief is immediate, physical. Your shoulders drop slightly. The tightness in your chest loosens. You're not rich, you know that, but for a few hours you feel like you have options again. You don't transfer anything, you don't allocate anything, you just see the number, feel better, put the phone down. It's 7:51 a.m. The first 5 minutes are over, and nothing has been decided. By 9 a.m, the direct debits start. Rent, £895. Balance, £1,372. You're at work. You're not checking. It just happens in the background. 11:23 a.m. Car finance, £267. Balance, £1,105. 1:15 p.m. Lunch break. You go to Pret. Soup, sandwich, coffee, £9.85. Yesterday you would have skipped the coffee, brought lunch from home. But today you've just got paid. Balance, £1,095.15. 4 p.m. Phone bill pulls, £38. Balance, £1,057.15. 6:30 p.m. Your colleague asks if you want to grab a drink after work. Last week, you would have said no, made an excuse. But it's payday weekend. You say yes. 2 drinks, sharing plates, £32. Balance, £1,025.15. Weekend passes. Tesco shop, £87. Sunday guilt, you transfer £50 to savings, not the £200 you planned. Monday, credit card minimum payment, £68. Tuesday, dinner with friends, £34. Wednesday morning, 5 days after payday, you're checking your balance before buying coffee, declining lunch invitations, feeling that familiar tightness in your chest again. You made £2,267 after tax. You have £740 left. Where did £1,527 go? You couldn't say exactly. There was no big purchase, no emergency, no reckless moment. It just went. And next month, the same thing will happen. Not because you're bad with money, because you never decided where it would go. Here's what actually happened in those first 5 minutes. When the £2,267 hit your account at 3:04 a.m, your brain didn't register it as £2,267 in total. It registered it as more than yesterday. That's the psychological trap. Payday doesn't feel like decision time, it feels like relief time. The number goes up, the stress goes down, and because nothing hurts in that moment, you don't act, you just feel better. Behavioral economists call this mental accounting. Your brain creates invisible categories for money, and those categories determine how you spend it. Money that just appeared feels different from money you've had for a week. New money feels flexible, bonus-like, even when it's not. So when you buy the Pret coffee on Friday afternoon, it doesn't feel like a decision. It feels like you can afford it. because in your head you're comparing it to yesterday's £86, not tomorrow's £740. And here's the mechanism that makes this vicious. Unallocated money feels spendable, even when you know you need to save it, even when you know bills are coming, even when you have a budget spreadsheet you haven't opened in 3 weeks. Until you physically move money or assign it a job, it stays in the available category, and available money gets spent. Most people wait days before touching their money. By that point, a huge chunk is already gone. Not on big things, on small things. The coffee, the lunch, the Friday drinks, each one individually justifiable, cumulatively devastating.
Here's the part that most people miss. There's a window, a very short window right after payday where your money is still completely flexible, still unassigned, still liquid. In that window, your brain hasn't emotionally spent it yet. It hasn't been categorized. It hasn't been claimed by future decisions you don't know you're making. That window is about 5 minutes, sometimes less. After that, the trajectory is set, not because you made bad choices, because you didn't make any choices at all, and the system filled in the gaps for you.
Same person, same income, same life, but this time one thing changes. 3:04 a.m. Salary hits, £2,267. 7:45 a.m. Coffee, banking app, balance, £2,267. But instead of just looking at the number and feeling relief, there's a single action. Before anything else, £400 gets moved to a separate account. Not because it's affordable, not because the month looks easy, but because unallocated money disappears. And this time it doesn't. The transfer takes 11 seconds. Balance, £1,867.
The rest of the day plays out the same. Rent pulls, £895. Balance, £972. Car finance, £267. Balance, £705. Pret lunch, £9.85. Balance, £695.15. Friday drinks, £32. Balance, £663.15. By Sunday, the balance is lower than it was in the first timeline, but £400 is already saved, not at the end of the month when there's nothing left, at the beginning when it was still possible. Same income, same life, same spending habits. The only difference, timing. The first 5 minutes after payday don't feel important. There's no urgency, no alarm, no consequence you can see. The money is just there. And because it feels abundant compared to yesterday, you assume you'll handle it later, when things settle, when you have time to think, when the month is less chaotic. But the month is never less chaotic, and later always means after everything else, after rent, after bills, after groceries, after life, and by the time you get to later, there's nothing left to allocate. Not because you spent recklessly, because you saved last, and last never happens. This doesn't just apply to savings, it applies to debt repayments, emergency funds, investing, anything you plan to do with money that isn't automatic. For most people, if it doesn't happen in the first 5 minutes, it doesn't happen at all. Not because you don't want it to, because the system isn't built to help you save, it's built to help you spend. And every hour you wait, the system gets stronger. The money feels less flexible, more spoken for, more needed elsewhere, until eventually there's nothing left to decide. Payday doesn't fix anything. It just reveals whether you have a system or whether the system has you. Most people think the problem is income, that if they just earned more, they'd finally get ahead. But people who earn £50,000 a year have the same problem as people who earn £30,000. The number changes, the pattern doesn't. Because it's not about how much you make, it's about what you do in the first 5 minutes after it arrives. That's when money is most flexible, most liquid, most yours. After that, it starts evaporating. Not because you're careless, because you waited, and waiting is a decision too.
You'll get paid again in 30 days. The notification will light up your phone at 3:04 a.m. You'll check it over coffee, feel that brief flicker of relief, and in those first 5 minutes, you'll either decide or the month will decide for you, same as it always has.